All right. And happy Sunday to my people, the Plunkers, Kristen, Tim. How you guys doing today?
All right, how are you?
Yeah, doing good, doing good.
Can't complain. Can't complain. Here we here on a Sunday. Always looking. You feel better about the week when the Bears have won on Sunday.
Like a little bit.
Well,
Sometimes.
it's just kind of like, all right, if I turn on sports radio tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip them, but they won. So
Definitely look better than last week.
definitely look better than last week. But before we get to maybe talking about a little Bears football today, it finally ended the 2021 MLB season, and it has been a long one. I honestly can't remember since what year it was since I watched this many games. Uh, Joined here. Well, once again, this is Plunk. This is the baseball podcast where we celebrate two teams, one magnificent city, that city being Chicago, those teams being the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs. A year filled with some ups and downs and some really high ups that we hope continue and some very low lows that we hope don't last too long. So we know what is going on the South Side. So before we get there, um, joined by our special guest host today, Tim Gronholm. How you doing, Coach? And of course, Kristen.
I'm doing well, yeah. How y'all doing? Good out there?
Yeah, doing good, man. So Cubs. I know how Kristen feels. I could see the look in her face. Tim, the season has finally ended, and I don't know if disappointing is the word to describe for the Cubs,
Oh yeah, I think
or
that's
how do you
um
describe it?
uh I would say it's like crossing the Rubicon, right? To use an old phrase. Like they went past a line that you can't go past now. You got rid of all your guys and it, like I said before a while ago, we just took our first steps into the desert as Cub fans. It's gonna be a long time getting back. Um I saw I think it was Hoyer said recently they're going to be active, like really active in free agency, and so I took a look around just to see who was available. Um, and Jeff Passan, who's a guy, a writer I respect, he's you see him on ESPN. He does a lot of the baseball stuff for them.
Mhm.
He actually wrote an article that was about the tiers of free agents. So the
Mhm.
top tier, you're looking at
Mhm.
Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, Freddie Freeman. Like those are the five. Max Scherzer, but he's 37 years old.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, if you're the Cubs, you're going to be active in free agency. You're talking about bringing those guys back, or the guys that we got rid of, or bringing in someone like them. Um, I just don't see it happening. So that's why I feel like it's crossing the Rubicon. You're out here. Um, like the only way forward, the only way to get out is to keep going forward. So they're going to have to figure out a way to rebuild this team while still trying to keep some of the guys that they have, Contreras and uh, my guy, the bulldog Kyle Hendricks, um, uh, in their prime. You know, like you got to turn it around pretty quickly because those guys are at the tail ends of their career too. Um, so I just don't know what the north side's going to look like next year. You know, we get to get all hyped up about the Nick Madrigal, Nico Horner position battle in spring training. Like if that's what I'm thinking about in February, they massively screwed this up.
Because I
So
have to ask, you mentioned Hendricks, like have we seen their best already?
yeah, I think Kyle Hendricks showed it to you in Game 7 of the World Series in 2016. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't know how you get any better than that. So
Mhm.
I would think he's at the tail end of his career.
Mhm.
Not tail end, but like, you know, probably like the back nine, if you want to think of it as golf terminology.
Mhm.
Contreras for sure. I mean, catchers, you're just not going to get longevity like he's And he's actually been really good in the second half too.
Hmm.
Um, and then you got a bunch of bums after that. I mean, I don't really know who else we got. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, Kristen. Let me ask you to jump in here. Like Hoyer mentions, being aggressive in free agent. Are they even at that point yet where they need to look to? Usually, aggressive in free agency means like, okay, you have like a foundation, a very strong foundation. You have one or two, maybe even budding all stars, even before you say, I'm going. We're going buck wild in free agency.
Well, actually, what he's saying is they'll get their name will get leaked that they're in on this person, they're in on that person. So now everyone will think, oh my gosh, they're being aggressive. Knowing good and well, they're not in on Correa. They're not in on Bryant. And then their name will probably be attached to Max Scherzer. Like we're close enough for a 37-year-old
Right.
pitcher to come here. So, they're lying. Or they'll be aggressive and they'll get more wisdoms and people like that. Or, no offense against Madrigal, but they'll get people in that tier. So when
Yeah.
they say they're going to be aggressive, they're just lying and their names will be leaked that they're linked to all these players. Because you're right. I mean, are you bringing in, unless, like Tim said, unless you're bringing back everybody, are you really, is Correa coming here to join Schwindel? No.
Schwindel.
I mean, and I like
No.
Schwindy City, but is anybody coming here like, yeah, I got to play with that Frank guy?
Yeah.
The pitching staff, it's Hendricks, and he is on his, it was a little bit of a decline. So it's Hendricks, and that's it. I mean, Justin Steele, whatever. Any of the other ones, whatever. So I'm just glad the season's over. It wasn't disappointing. It was disgusting because, like Smith
Right. That's
told us in
that's.
the very beginning, they are worth
Uh-huh.
$3.9 billion, and this is what
yeah,
we're out there.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I said. Is it disappointing or is it just disgusting? Like disappointment, yes, but like that would almost be like you expected good things and bad things happen, but I don't feel like we really expected good things from this season. We got a little surprised at the beginning when they were
Yeah.
winning some games, but overall, I don't feel like people felt confident like of how this season was going to end. I don't know if people knew it was going to end exactly like this, but
Well,
I
you
think the writing was on the wall.
because they never had starting pitching. It was
Hmm.
Kyle Hendricks, and that's it. Arietta,
Yeah,
please.
Arietta. Yeah.
No, Adbert isn't ready. And then Trevor Williams, no. So it was exciting when they were leading by 4, and then
Mhm.
like in 2 days they were down 11 or lost 11 in a row.
Right.
I mean, they lost
Right.
11 games in a row in 2 days. So
Like, how did
it
y'all play that many games?
right, it's just like,
Like,
but there was always like, how are they doing this with zero pitching? So, and then the hitting was bad too, and
yeah.
then you knew that you probably never thought that Rizzo was going to be gone because you figured maybe they would hold on to him like he would be their Jose Abreu. You bring in young
Hmm.
guys, Rizzo takes them, under his wing and brings them along, etc. That type of thing. And then when he goes, you're like, oh, okay, they're just really just ripping
I
this
mean,
guy.
and Abreu also took a very friendly deal, which I don't think Rizzo was willing to do either.
But I think
But
they didn't try to even come friendly. I think they insulted him.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. When I said friendly deal, I meant friendly for the team, not
club,
for
yeah.
Abreu. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't friendly for him. He could have got more on the open market. I think
Yeah.
he took less to stay because he wanted to, to see this thing through. Now it's like, well, what does Rizzo have to
Just to
gain by
throw his
seeing
hands.
a rebuild through? He's already seen a
Yeah,
rebuild through and
that's
got a World Series from
yeah.
it. So, what's his motivation to be like? Okay, I'm gonna stick around with these guys, and and if he'd have stayed, we wouldn't got all that Schwindel action.
And that would have
This
been all right. I like him and all, but
This
I would have been okay without Wisdom, Schwindel, the reemergence of Ian Happ. Please.
reemergence.
Yeah,
They're like,
Ian Happ's a bum.
thank
He's one of those,
you, Tim.
he's one of those guys that'll hit like a 3-run homer when you're down 15 or something.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
Right.
oh, look at
Oh,
this.
look at this.
Hey, look at Ian Happ. Yeah, come on, man. Get out of here.
And the
Yeah, sure.
announcers, they just love Ian Happ. Like, oh, he's on fire now because they're going nowhere. When they
Yeah.
needed him to be on fire, he wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a glorified like quadruple A player, I think. He's a little bit above that.
He's quadruple, like he's a quadruple A. I'm like, yeah, I'm not triple A no more, but I'm not quite.
Yeah,
Like I'm in the parking lot. I'm literally.
He's a fourth.
yeah, but they don't have a reserved parking space for you in that parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
He's pays a 20 to
Yeah,
park.
you got now it's 40 to get easy in and out. He's paying 40
man.
to get easy in and out.
Just taking the L. He just takes the L.
Yeah. He's making sure he refreshes that Chicago parking app before that parking spot's up.
Right.
They're about to tow him out the parking lot because he's tow him back to Iowa.
He shows up to the game in his uniform. He doesn't have a locker. He's got to just dress at home and show up ready. He's buying his own glove.
He makes sure he brings sunflower seeds for all the teammates.
And juice boxes. Sunflower seeds and juice boxes. And orange wedges. So you keep energy up.
Yeah.
So
outfielder.
Let me ask you, Tim, what's on the horizon with the pitching? Like, maybe Chris, you can jump in too. Like, do they have anything down in the farm interesting? I know not next year, but even coming up through the ranks in the next couple years as far as pitching.
Alan Bratcher says that the prospects they got from Darvish, they look like they're pretty good. He's heard. I haven't heard.
I haven't either. I know, like, if you think of Theo's model, right, and Jed is essentially following Theo's model. He's trying to build the position players up, and then utilize free agency to get your pitching staff. Like that's how we got Lester, if you think of it that way, right? They took all those years, drafted Schwarber, Baez, Bryant, got like the position players really your foundation, and then you go out in free agency to try to make a splash with the pitchers because the pitcher arms are so volatile. You know what I mean? Like look at Carlos Rodon, who I'm sure we'll get to in a minute, but like. That you never know what's going to happen with some of these guys. So I don't mind doing it that way. And I think Jed is trying to do the same thing. But like Kristen said, Max Scherzer, like he's unbelievably great. I mean, the guy is unbelievably great. He's going to have no business wanting to come to the Cubs. Like he's never even going to be Max Scherzer, if the Dodgers win the World Series this year, Max Scherzer still would not want to come to the Cubs, right? Scherzer's already won the World Series once. Unless they back up the Brinks truck and say, give him a blank check. That's the only way I can see a guy like that coming. So I don't really see anything on the horizon as far as pitching goes for the Cubs. Brendan Davis and the kid from Mount Carmel, Ed Howard, are sort of the two kids the Cubs are pinning their hopes to in the future. I haven't heard a lot about Howard either, which is a little bit disappointing because I was really excited when they drafted him. And he's really young. I mean, they drafted him out of high school, so he's only like 19 years old, maybe 20 right now. But I have seen some good stuff about Brendan Davis. He looks like he might be ready for next year, which would be good. But again, it's just one guy, So Hoyer's actual direct quote was about free agency. I got to give you this because this is ridiculous. He said, obviously, we have to be a little – obviously, that's how – obviously, we have to be a little more active than usual to fill out our roster because we have a lot more open spots. No shit, because you traded away the whole team, man. Like, come on. We have a lot more open spots.
Like we're hiring, so we're hiring. Please inquire within. Like what?
Yeah. We might fire you, and then we'll have more open spots. Right. I'll have to go out and get more guys.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I don't know what the Cubs are going to do. And honestly, it's been an 18-month-long thing. Like, the pandemic is what Ricketts is trying to blame for this. Not overtly, but they're trying to point to like lost revenues from 2020 and saying that that's the reason that they couldn't keep Bryant and Baez, and like they're not ever going to use that language because it sounds so ridiculous and terrible, and because they're worth what we talked about, the billions of dollars they have. But that's how they're playing this. They got rid of Darvish and Caratini. That trade right there told me this is trouble because Darvish is one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball and healthy. And you threw in a catcher and we got nobody in return. So that was just sort of like the first warning sign that like Baez and Bryant were going to go. And then they followed through with it. And the only thing we really got was Kimbrel. We got a, Punch and Judy guy that looks like me from Nick Madrigal for Craig Kimbrel and Cody Hoyer.
I want Madrigal back.
Well, that's because he was
Take your
playing
damn
what you got,
Kimbrel.
what
Nah,
you
I know.
Yeah.
have.
I know.
But that's sort of sad. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's where you went. So it's really not disgusting or disappointing for me. Or surprising. It's just pathetic. Is really like I'm just like stunned that this is where we're at as a
Mhm.
franchise, that we're gonna act like I said before, like we're the Kansas City Royals or the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's just it's mind blowing to me.
And,
Mhm.
and our payroll is it lower than the Rays? Same, whatever, and the Rays won their division.
Every year.
Yeah, it's
Very difficult division at that.
yeah, it's I I I I don't know. They can't afford to take as long as maybe they think they'll be able to take, because the numbers went down this year and it's only going to be worse next year, because you get spoiled. Like in Chicago, it doesn't happen often.
Right.
You think about with the Bulls, you get spoiled by winning. Now, for the Sox fans, it's been 2 years in a row of the playoffs, so now you're spoiled. So no one has time for three. I
I
mean, but
wouldn't say
let's
I'm
just say
spoiled, but I feel you.
you're going to be spoiled. Like next year, you can't. Next year, you're not going to stand for losing,
yeah.
being below 500, and the Cubs fans aren't going to stand for a very long time of being garbage. And we keep talking about all these prospects, but they're 2-3 years away. What?
Yeah.
2-3
And
years
who
away?
knows? And who knows what that even looks like? Maybe 2-3 years away.
Right.
You
And
know.
a prospect, you never know. You never know if
It's
that's
just a
going to pan
prospect.
out.
It's a prospect. Well, I would say that there we had like three different stages with this Cubs team. We had that kind of like out of the gate kind of surprise team that swept the Dodgers and all of that, and then the reality when the bottom dropped out, we had that part. So that was the second part when that trade deadline happened. And then then there's just what was left is the third part. What's left?
Mess.
And that was 11 game losing streaks. Tim, you call them bums.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you
I
this.
call them bums too.
My wife got me, and Lover got me tickets to go see the Cubs Cardinals last weekend. So we went, and we were in the stadium, and just getting there, I'm like, listen, we don't have to stay the whole game. I'm okay leaving. I don't need I don't need to see Schwindel have 4 at bats.
Right.
And it's Cubs Cardinals, right? Cubs Cardinals. It's a beautiful day. It was like 75 degrees out. And the Cardinals were in the midst of their whatever 17-game winning streak, which is
hmm
impossible to look at. That stadium, Wrigley Field, was filled with more Cardinal fans than Cub fans. And
Wow.
I wanted to vomit. I'm like, this is terrible. What? And I get it. They were getting ready to clinch their playoff spot. It was beautiful. Cub, probably secondary market tickets. Cub fans just sort of sold them because the team's terrible. Cardinal fans traveled up. We were actually walking around the park looking for. My wife was looking for a T-shirt, and we heard a roar. and we're like, it was the first inning. Like, okay, let's get in. We got in. The roar was the Cardinal fans cheering. They had gone up 1-0 on a home run, and I was like,
Wow.
this is bad. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Has that ever happened? Like when like Wrigley was taken over?
nope, I've never seen it. Not one time. And that's to Kristen's point. Cub fans, uh, Bill Simmons talks about like a 5-year like waiting period, right? Like after 5 years, like once you win a championship, you got 5 years. The team can sort of do what they want. The fans aren't going to get super pissed off.
Right.
Um, but with the way the Cubs handled this trade deadline and the players, they lost all equity with the fan base at this point. So we're not going to sort of sit around and just and go to the games anymore like that. And you all know like those tickets aren't cheap. It's
No.
not easy to get to a game like so.
No. It isn't like people aren't into the whole lovable loser thing anymore. Like
No,
Right.
spending all that money on the tickets and $10 beer, all of that no.
No.
It's not like a few bucks and a dollar hot. This isn't the 50s or something like
no,
when it was
Right.
like, yeah, you take the whole family to a ball game for $20. It's like, no, you take your family to a ball game, you got $300.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean? And so, no, you don't want to spend that kind of money to go watch, bad
bad.
baseball.
Really
You
quick
know,
before we switch, I looked up the 4 players they got from Darvish. This is just real quick information. So Owen Cassie, he's a left-handed bat. He plays outfield. He had a 349 when he got to the Cubs. 349 average, 478 on base percentage.
That's good.
Ismael Mina is a center fielder. He was garbage. I didn't even write down his stuff. Reginald, I'm probably saying names wrong. Preciado is a shortstop, third baseman, 333, 383 on base.
Okay.
Yason Santana, another shortstop. We have a million shortstops and third baseman.
Yep.
He has a 292 average, a 362 on base percentage.
And then Brennan Davis is an outfielder, and Ed Howard's a shortstop.
Shortstop.
So again, not a single pitching prospect in that list.
not a
Right.
single person prospect.
So
And I guess they're sold on Schwindel at first because it's like all they got is middle
I
infielders.
was
It
about to
sounds
say, is
like
that
too.
all? Isn't that kind of all they have?
I
yeah.
guess I guess so. They're not looking for any competition. They're like, you got the job, brother. I got the job. Yeah, you the only one that showed up.
Yeah, basically.
He was just came to the game and
Yeah.
yeah.
That guy sounds like he owns an auto parts store outside of the field somewhere.
That is
Right.
Frank the Tank.
right, Frank Schwindel Ford or
Yeah, yeah,
something like
exactly. Exactly.
That's Wendell Ford.
the Schwindel Ford. Yeah. I play
Yeah.
yeah, I play a little first base too. You
Hey,
know.
yeah, we got real low APRs over at my place. Come on by and
Right,
add us in.
As for me, Frank the Tank.
Frank was fishing with Jason Peters for the Bears. They were out fishing together, and they both got picked up.
Oh my god. I thought you were for real first. I was like,
I did too.
really?
I'm like,
Holy
that must have been a big
shit.
boat.
Wow, I believed you for a second. I was like, wow.
Oh,
No
No, I'd watch
shit.
it.
some
I'd watch
inside
that show.
information.
That's real inside.
I'd watch that show. I'd watch Swindell and Peters on a boat fishing.
That would
Right.
be
Yeah.
interesting.
Just throw a camera on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Well, I guess now's as good a time as any. Sox lost their last one today, but does not eliminate the clinch of the AL Central. The loss today has nothing to do with their positioning nor home field advantage, which they do not have going into Houston on Thursday. Now, Tim, I want to talk to you. I wanted you to. I know you're a Cubs fan, but I know you know what's going on with the White Sox pitching staff.
Yeah.
Um, this isn't the same quite confident staff that there was in like July. You know what I mean? Still good, but not July pitching. Who are you looking at as the four starters? Hopefully, we get a fourth game out of is it still 3 out of 5 on the first?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
hopefully
fine.
we get a fourth game. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big if. Unfortunately. So,
Man, how it's changed.
I'm just keeping it real. It's just true. It's going to be hard. This is going to be real hard. So,
it's hard. We're on the road in Houston.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's I'm I'm staying positive, but this is
well, I got some numbers to keep you positive too about
please
it.
give me some numbers.
All right, so
Give me the numbers. That might help.
it's going to be tough, but I think you're going to be okay. I think they
Okay.
got a good chance here. So, the good thing is that both the White Sox and the Houston Astros have iffy pitching staffs right now. So that's a good thing. Game one. So the per Brian McTaggart from MLB.com, this guy wrote an article talking about the Sox and Astros. The Astros. So the teams met 7 times. Astros won the first 5 games. They swept the White Sox in June. And at that time, then in July, when they came back, Giolito threw a complete game 3-hitter, struck out 8, July 17th against the Astros. The night before, McCullers threw 7 innings of 2-hit ball and struck out 10 against the White Sox. That's your game one matchup. So the first game, I think is going to be huge. I mean, obviously it always is. It's sort of redundant, and I love how like cliche baseball announcers will start talking about these things. Like they're all important games and blah 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 blah. But if you can get game one in Houston,
Hmm.
that changes everything. So if Giolito can actually come out and have that same performance he did in July, that type of performance,
I mean, and you could say like I feel like Giolito as of late is pitching as good as he's pitched all year,
and Cease,
and
those
Dylan
two
Cease is probably as good
better.
as, if not better, than he has been all year.
Cease is rated out per Fangraphs as in the last 2 weeks as a top 5 pitcher in baseball.
Okay,
Uh,
so now that's interesting. So now who gets the? I'm assuming we're going to see Big Lance Lynn in that game too.
right.
So now, who gets that game 3 start? I
It's
know
Cease.
it's
Cease.
Cease, not
Yeah.
Rodon.
Well, did you see LaRussa today too?
After post game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His quote was when he talking about Carlos Rodon, he said he's the great unknown, quote unquote. That the roster is going to be finalized Thursday morning, and it's that tough a call, he said, when it came to Rodon. So that they're going to have to look at his bullpen on Wednesday, or bullpen on Tuesday, and
Tuesday.
then see how he reacts Wednesday to
Hmm.
figure out where he's going to be on this roster. And that's a huge blow. I mean, obviously, Carlos Rodon is a great pitcher when healthy and a Cy Young contender. And you hate to see a guy like that, you know, we all sort of know the story now after he threw that no hitter. He came back from the shoulder injury and just really had a tough go of it. And finally gets back. You like to see a guy like this get an opportunity in the bright lights of the playoffs. And now to not know if he's going to be available is
Hmm.
brutal. So to me, I think this series is going to come down to the bullpen because
And I give the Sox
Sox,
the nod
right?
over Houston with bullpen.
I agree, and
Just barely, but
the
yeah.
numbers barely back that
Mhm.
up too. So the Sox have a 3.94 bullpen ERA, whereas the Astros have a 4.03 bullpen ERA. So slight edge White Sox. They have a 27.8% strikeout percentage, which is obviously all the rage in baseball now. The White Sox do. The Astros have a 25.7. So it's another slight edge to the White Sox. The White Sox also walk less guys than the Houston Astros do in the bullpen. 9.1% walk rate for the White Sox, 10.4% walk rate for the Astros in the bullpen. So ERA, strikeout percentage, and walk percentage all go to the White Sox in the bullpen. And I think that's going to be key. So guys like Kopech are going to be big.
Mhm.
Obviously, Hendricks. Hendricks is graded out as the number 1 closer in baseball on the season and in the last 2 weeks. So you got the back end figured out. That's not a problem. You just got to get there. And so
And I
I really,
and I think Ryan Tepera is going to be, he needs to play well. He needs to throw well.
yeah, I think you got the arms to do it. So the trick is I honestly, I think after the first game, I'm thinking the first game should be like an old school pitching duel.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the numbers, like both of the
Mm-hmm.
pitchers pitched well against these respective teams the last time they pitched against them, and they're their two best pitchers on each, the best
Mm-hmm.
pitcher on each of their teams. So it should be a low scoring game, which means a fast game on
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. After that, I expect long games,
Mm-hmm.
like 4 hours, 5 hours, a lot of pitching changes, a lot of movement.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, playoff baseball now is way different than regular season baseball. Um, so you're just gonna see longer games. So like Friday night, hunker down, get ready for like a 4 hour, 5 hour, maybe long
Mm-hmm.
affair. Same with Sunday at whatever you want to call that stadium on 35th and Shields. Um,
The rate.
the rate. I've
The
heard
rate.
some inappropriate things too. I'm not probably going to say it on
Wow.
this podcast,
Ooh. Jeez. Yeah.
but
Ooh. I don't even know what that is.
oh well,
I don't,
yeah.
man, you
Uh,
Cubs fans. That's just cold.
let's put it. I mean, it's not inappropriate. Let's put it this way. Um, I've been told that a lot of men don't know how to get to the game because of the nickname of that stadium.
Yeah. Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
All right. All
let's
right.
put it that way.
Jeez.
Yeah. Keep
Jeez.
it classy, San Diego.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Jeez. Yes, that's really good stuff. Those numbers. All of these games are going to be tight, even the long ones or short ones. What I do give Houston over the Sox is I think they're a better defensive team than the White Sox, and just every little thing counts so much more in the playoffs. And if you're talking about like that fast pace pitchers duel in Game One, it could easily come down to a ball that Anderson couldn't get to, or something like that. Not calling Tim Anderson out or anything like that, but like it's just those little things like you saw like I saw an error today that by Moncada, and you just those mental lapses that I'm seeing occasionally. Um, everything is just heightened right now. So every little thing wrong I'm seeing right now is like my biggest fear now. Obviously, like, oh well, so but I do think you're going to get what you got throughout the season. You're going to get some young guys having some big moments. I think you're going to see a big moment from Gavin Sheets. I think you might see an Andrew Vaughn big moment or two, and I think they're going to. We know what their big guns are, who their big guns are, both pitchers and hitters. I think they're going to need a couple of kind of like wild card guys, or the Jeff Blums, of the, you know what I mean? That like, who is this? Like
That's gonna be your second baseman. What's his name?
who?
What's your second baseman's name?
Oh, Cesar,
Hernandez.
He's gonna give you
Cesar
the
Hernandez.
yeah, he's gonna give you the moment.
Hey, if that's what it takes, I mean, and I think my little dude, Lahiri Garcia, he's a big moment type of guy. Like little guy comes out of nowhere. So yeah, we're gonna need some of those. I hope Eloy can finally kind of get that stroke back going again.
There it is,
Um, you know,
man. What's up with him?
I don't
Well, I know
I
what's
don't
up with
know.
him. He rushed
What
back.
would you? Yeah, I mean, well, we knew that was the case. I don't know. He's not quite moving the way he should be. I saw him trying to change up his stance, trying to do some adjustments when he started struggling. Like at least he's trying to change something up instead of just doing what isn't working. But that's they got hot. The team has kind of got hot this last week and a half. Besides for today. And it's not always the best team that wins, it's the hottest team. That part is working in our favor. We've gotten hot. you know we just need 11 more wins.
Eloy needs to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, second half, in the second half, he's hitting 252 with
Uh-huh.
a 304 on base. League average is a 317 on base, so he's below average on base percentage.
Damn, you
And
just here to ruin
um,
my night.
no, I'm gonna hit. That's a bad number.
I'm already scared.
He always has a positive one after his
He's
bad.
he's
That's
really
it.
good. Like he's like you're like our Steve Stone. Like you got the numbers, you got the. All right, man. Tell me something good,
All
please.
right, all right.
Help
Well,
me out here. Help me out here, Tim. We go back.
Luis Robert. All right.
Lou Bob, come on.
Yeah, he's hitting 348 in the second half. And I saw a number when I was looking at his stats I've never seen before in my life. So Fangraphs will break it down by like the type of your batting average on the type of balls that you hit. So like a fly ball, liner, or like a ground ball.
Hmm.
57 times he's hit a line drive this baseball season in the second half. He's hitting 768
Wow.
on those 57 shots. He's got a 381 on base percentage in the second half. So those two guys were the key to me as far as that lineup goes.
Uh-huh.
Because when they're right, the White Sox have like a top 2 or 3 lineup. If you ask me, like they're really really good.
True, and we haven't seen them right at the same time really all year. Maybe for about a week. Like there was a point where Eloy was probably like the hottest hitter in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Robert's there. Eloy's just got to come around.
Hmm.
Those Robert numbers are crazy.
Yeah.
That guy, I love watching him hit too because he sort of reminds me of Baez. Like he is not getting cheated.
No, he's putting every back muscle into it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I mean, that speaks to what you mentioned about those line drives. I mean, that's a bullet coming out of there.
yeah,
Seriously, and he's obviously no slouch in center field either. Um, I'm wondering if we won't see maybe a little bit more of Eloy DHing, um, which I think there's always that thing of like, well, if he's DHing, he's not into the game as much, blah blah blah. But I think just for defense, I'd almost rather see Andrew Vaughn out there, assuming Vaughn's back is where it needs to be. And I think somebody who's going to be, you know, important is Adam Engel. Because when he's been
yeah,
healthy, he's been very important to this team. He's just not been very healthy this year. So, um, you just
yeah. It's
hope
going to be
that,
interesting.
yeah,
This is where
yeah.
you got Dusty versus Tony La Russa now.
What do you
Think about
say
that.
about that? What do
So
you know?
edge La Russa for sure. I mean, any Cub fan could tell you. I watched that poor man ruin Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood in 2 years. Um, I don't in Dusty. We don't trust you. Not in this house anyway. I do not trust
Dusty, we
Dusty.
don't trust him.
No, no.
Dusty's left here. He's taken 5 teams to playoffs.
Yeah, and they don't win anything. Like they
That's
don't
all
get
right.
there, but they don't win
That's all
nothing.
right.
So I
Child
do trust
forced me,
LaRussa here.
Trust. Well, yeah, I definitely trust Larusa. But obviously players got to play.
I mean, I don't
Um,
want him to drive me home from the restaurant, but
or anywhere for that
yeah.
matter.
But I'll definitely trust him. Running a bullpen and trying to guide the
Hmm.
ship. So I think that's
Hmm.
actually a good thing. Um, so that would be
Advantage
interesting.
White Sox, I would say.
Big time. And how he's going to use Vaughn and Angle and Sheets and those guys, like
Hmm.
that's where this experience really comes in because you want to get to those type of players that haven't had playoff success before. Even Lou Bob, Eloy, these are young guys. They haven't
Yeah,
had
they
playoff
don't have they don't
experience.
have they don't have any run in them like that. Yeah, yeah.
And he'll be able to find them the spots to make them successful too, to try to maximize their opportunity. That's going to be big. So that's why I really think that game one is going to be big. If Giolito can come out and shut them down in Houston, because now the Astros got Alex Bregman back too, and Bregman is one of the top 25 hitters in all of baseball, and he was not there when the White Sox played the Astros in June
Right,
and July.
right.
So, um, yeah,
But
hopefully
then
it's a big W Thursday.
neither was Lubob and
Eloy,
Eloy.
yeah, yeah,
So the same can be said. So like neither of those teams were at 100%. during that time. Arguably, they are now. And so I'm God, this is very nerve wracking already thinking about this, but I'm just gonna enjoy the process, because I hope to not see Dallas Keuchel again
Oh
until
no,
Arizona sometime
no,
in the spring.
no, never again. I don't think you need to see him ever again.
Yeah,
He,
okay,
he
because
can go. He can go fishing with Jason Peters and Schwindel.
a man, right?
Put him on
Yeah,
the boat.
What if there's something wrong with Rodon? Then
Oh.
you might see Keiko, right?
I think I might rather see Ruiz. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I'd
I
be
mean,
interested.
Eichel is just
I know he's.
terrible. I mean, and then it was like, well, maybe he could pitch out of the bullpen. He came in last night, what,
I know.
2/3 inning,
It was
4 hits,
bad.
3 run. Like he just gave the like here,
I was
take
like,
the
well,
game,
there goes that bullpen option.
man. Like yeah, that was just like no, don't put me in the bullpen. Like just yeah, yeah.
This is where I wish they were a little bit more Tampa Bay Rays like too, right? If you notice the Rays using the openers, and I think we talked about this a while ago too, right? I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Kopech throw the first 2 innings and then stitch it together with some guys in a bullpen to get to Hendricks at the back end. Like that would be a good idea. Let me get Kopech through the first one time through the lineup and then figure it out after that.
I thought that Kopech would have cracked the starting lineup by now, but just hasn't happened. I guess maybe other guys, like Dylan Cease being so good this year and like improving throughout the season. I guess they figured they didn't need to push Kopech like that. But like yeah, uh for a game 4 start, if Rodon doesn't go, I would put it in Kopech's hands. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this right now though. Rodon's gonna go. Okay, he's a free agent in the offseason. This guy has worked his ass off for a long time, and we talked about the injuries and stuff. He needs to start that game for his own personal future.
Threw a good 5 innings his last outing.
Yeah,
Now, is the problem
he's
his
gonna.
velocity? Isn't that what
His
Tony was
velocity
worried about?
is down,
Yeah,
is way down. Yeah, yeah. What
and
was
that's
once,
problematic.
yeah, yeah.
That is problematic. But he's gonna. I think miraculously he's gonna find some miles per hour in that bullpen session on Tuesday. I'd be
Miraculously,
I'd
like,
be stunned if he's not on that roster and not starting game 4.
all right,
Little
put me in,
cream.
coach. All right, Tony. All
Some, bringing back some greenies and things.
right. All of it.
Well,
We're some
I hope for him.
greenies and some cigarettes. That'll
Yeah,
that'll
yeah.
get him going.
Like Jim Leland in the dugout,
Absolutely,
smoking heaters in between innings.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever works,
In
man. I
the
mean,
good old days.
your body. I just want you to win. I'm just a fan.
Right.
I'm not the moral police here.
Wade Boggs drinking 36 beers on an airplane trip and then getting up the next day to go hit 2 for 3 or something. I don't.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
and those guys not getting hurt like some of these
Yeah,
guys. I
because
mean, just
what
a
did
little bit more relaxed.
what did Rod Beck say? You can't pull fat.
Can't pull fat.
The shooter.
The shooter.
I love this. I mean, I met that guy at.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was great. He was everything you want him to be.
really.
Yeah, it was essentially. I forgot the Chafin, right? Like Chafin was
Yeah,
Chafin's a poor man's Rod Beck.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So Rod Beck, just real quick, I got a little Rod Beck anecdote. He had a trailer somewhere in Iowa, and he had, this is no joke, he had like a little beer marquee sign, like the neon sign.
Mm-hmm.
And if the neon sign was on, anybody could come in and hang out with him. That's not where I met him, but
Are you sure it's him?
he was, it was a long night. No.
Right.
Yeah. So Beck was talking about, like, I actually asked him, like, is that real or is that just something you said for the interview? He goes, oh, no, it's real. If you're ever out, he's like, Hey, just come on over. We just hang out. We'll bullshit. I was like, this guy's ridiculous. Um,
It sounded like he's a
yeah,
ton of fun,
A good
probably.
time.
yeah,
It sounds like a great time, actually.
yeah. So you need more guys like Rod Beck in the game.
Absolutely, you do, and just in life, like as a coworker
That's right.
and a
That's right.
friend. Yeah,
The lights on. Come on over.
yeah.
All right, shooter.
The shooter.
You can't
Well,
pull fat. That's awesome.
you
Yeah,
can't. You
can't pull
can't.
fat.
So we'll see what happens, and hopefully next week isn't our last episode for the season.
What's your prediction? Do you have one?
Um, funny thing is, I agree with Tim on the game one. I think you're gonna see like a 1-0, 2-1 game, and I think whoever does not make a defensive error, and I know that's not because of what I gave Houston the nod to defense, but that's not that's not absolute. I think whoever defensively does all of the right things or more of the right things, because it's going to come down to one play. One play. After the game's over, you're going to be like, oh, if that play hadn't gone in just a one run thing, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be that tight. So it's really hard for me to. I mean, I'm going with the Sox because that's my team. But just looking at it, I think it's
I had the
tough.
same. I agree with you, Tim. I have the Sox in 4.
Yep.
Got the
Sox
Sox
in 4.
before. All right.
I think they win game 1, 3, and 4. They're going to lose game 2. Framber Valdez is going to pitch well for the Astros.
Hmm.
And I don't think Lynn has been what he's up to normally. So I think the Sox get 1, 3, and 4.
I think ultimately Dusty blows it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think like, and here's another which one you got, and I said Sox as far as like the managerial aspect of it and just the strategy. I think you're gonna see that old man's gonna he's we haven't seen his greatest trick yet. And his greatest trick just might be coming out of retirement after 10 years or whatever it's been and winning the World Series with his first team. I mean, and then he may perish in the offseason.
Dang.
That took a dark turn.
It did, but it's like what kind that would be just such an amazing story. Like you talking about going out on top. Who wouldn't want to? It's like David Ross hitting a home run in the World Series and his last at bat in his
But
career.
he didn't perish.
I know, but he might as well have.
Not-
He's look where he is now.
I
It's
mean, he's
about
he's,
the same. No,
he's coaching garbage.
but
I
I'm
think.
just. I
I
mean,
think
Tony
we're.
Russo's 89 years old though, so like
How old
this
is he
is.
really?
He doesn't look a day over 83, though, I think.
This is true. He's kept himself together quite well.
If Dusty does make a mistake, it will be probably with his bullpen.
I mean,
Yep.
that's what he's notoriously
Yeah.
has done
Yeah.
He'll.
since in San Francisco.
Yeah. It'll be similar to how Joe Madden almost messed it up,
Oh,
but
Yeah.
the thing is the players won't be able to pull it out when Dusty does it.
why'd you got to trigger me like that, Kristen?
I'm sorry. I know you
Yeah,
always talk
see?
about it.
Too
Y'all-
I
soon.
like Joe Madden. I like Dusty Baker too. But I mean, you
I like
also
Dusty, too.
understand. I understand where their faults are,
Right.
and his was always managing pitching, especially when to pull someone, when to not pull someone, putting in the wrong. Sometimes your gut just is not right, fellas and ladies. But we're talking about fellas with these coaches. Sometimes your gut is wrong, and they always want to go with their gut as like it's wrong.
Yeah.
As opposed to LaRussa, who legitimately changed the game of baseball with his usage of the bullpen and Dennis Eckersley and the closer and all that. So, big, huge edge to LaRussa when it comes to managing pitching staff in the postseason. And I don't think that can be overlooked at all. Dusty's going to mess this up. I've
Dusty's
seen
gonna
it before.
Debbie told me Tony's 77.
good looking Deb. 77.
I
He's
knew
only
the man
77.
I knew the man wasn't in his 80s
He's
yet.
He
only
doesn't like it. He don't look a
he's
day over
only
83.
Well,
he's
I
only
mean,
77.
he's clearly a heavy drinker.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I would have never guessed he was in his 70s.
So that's why he looks older. And I
Yeah.
mean, come on now, if you've been coaching this long,
I mean, you spend a lot of time out in the sun, you know.
Dusty's 72. Dusty looks young, way younger than Tony.
Well, you know how it is. Yeah.
Dusty does look way. How old is Dusty?
72.
Here, we
Oh,
throw it up.
72.
I didn't realize Dusty was 72.
I didn't either.
Man.
I would have said 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done well after his cancer. So what do you have, the prostate?
Yeah, he did do. He has done well. I like Dusty. I just don't trust him to run a
You
bullpen.
just don't trust in Dusty.
No, that's it.
No trusty and Dusty.
That's it.
Nice guy. Just don't trust you with my pitching staff.
No, not at all.
I'll throw one more Cosmo thing. Somebody else who was always down on Dusty about his use of his bullpen was my late father. That was always his criticism of Dusty Baker was he don't know how to use the goddamn bullpen. That's his problem.
Remember the year when he took out Zambrano? Wasn't he? He took him out because he was trying to save him, and they never wound up playing the game he was saving them for. And it was like, just let him pitch because you need this game.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's why nobody likes you, Dusty. But it was something like that. He was thinking, okay, I'm gonna be able to bring him back for this other game, but
you haven't won this game
right,
yet.
You needed that game, and like the pitching staff had been going down at that time. Yeah, good old Dusty.
Dusty always thinks he's playing chess, but he's actually playing checkers. That's what he.
Although
I bet he's
Alex
playing.
Gonzalez messed up Dusty's
for sure
to World Series.
For sure.
Alex Gonzalez, he ruined Steve Bartman's life. One.
Yeah.
Steve Bartman should have had a civil suit against him.
Gonzalez.
For real.
Gonzalez probably would have settled out of court.
Didn't Steve Bartman, did he sue Fox though too?
He could have.
Did he?
He should have because
that
was
the did it. That's why I would give.
He wasn't even the one who did it, but it was Fox that kept showing it and saying, "Yeah."
And you ruined my life, and I didn't even do it.
I mean, ruined his life, and Gonzo. No, it's really Gonzo. He ruined.
It's all his
he ruined
fault.
Bartman's life. He ruined Dusty's career, his legacy.
He ruined that year for Cubs fans.
What?
It was like typical Cubby occurrence.
See, like as much as this would have hurt this year, with the way the Cubs broke up, but it's a breakup. It's different, but like that 03 thing was like nothing. I remember the ball going through Leon Durham's legs, and I remember that.
What are you trying to do to me?
I'm just talking history, but there was nothing like that 03 thing.
That was devastating.
I told you this story, Chris, when I met Kerry Wood, and I gave him a nod for you didn't throw the towel in Game 7.
That homer, man, that was
you hit great. That home run. You were out there doing your thing, and you even homer. Like the rest of your team gave up, and you didn't. I don't know, just respect to that guy for that. He was a really nice guy too. But with that,
just real quick, Alex Gonzalez, when he signed with the Cubs, 4 years, $20 million. He should give a couple of those millions to Bartman.
Definitely should.
$20 million for that guy, man.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't, but he should.
I mean,
now, I heard they gave Bartman a World Series ring. Is that true?
They may have.
Did they?
That's what I heard.
That'd be nice.
I don't know if it's true. Yeah, I mean, you're just a Cubs fan who got your life ruined.
But now it's okay.
I guess because they won one.
They gotta bring him back.
They won one. So.
Yeah, I mean, and they gave him a ring. I guess.
Yeah, so fans can leave him.
Yeah,
alone
I mean they've had the special, and you saw the footage up close now, and it's been almost 20 years. So
2026 when the 10-year anniversary, they should bring him back. The 10-year anniversary of the World Series win. 2026. let
bring
Bartman come
in.
back and yeah,
He'll
what the,
probably
why
get a
not?
standing O.
Do
He'll
you?
probably get to come back before Sammy.
What would have been the reaction if
That's
they brought him
ridiculous.
out to the parade in 16?
I think people would have cheered because they
I
finally
think
won.
so too.
Oh
Like
yeah, they
this
would have.
man,
I was
we
at
got to
that
bring
parade.
somebody out.
They
This
were
man,
cheering everything.
this
Yeah,
man
that's
has lived his own personal hell because of you, bastards.
Yep.
yeah. They would
Bring him
have
out
cheered.
here, Steve. That would have been
But
funny.
yeah, yeah,
That
they would
was
have cheered.
insane.
Yep. But hey, with that being said, we got a little bit more baseball left, and so far it's been fun. I can't believe we've made it through a whole season with Plunk. Kristen, thank you, Tim, for being a part
All
of
the
this
good work. Yeah.
with Kristen and I. Like, and all of, I mean, this is a long, long season, and we skipped like maybe 4 shows or something like that. Like, so kudos to Plunk and to all the plunkers that hung in there. Our number one fan,
Debbie.
Deb, straight out of Queens, New York, showing Chicago love every week. Like, you know, much appreciation and to everybody who has followed and supported Plunked through this endeavor. We're just a few people who um just love the game, you know what I mean. We're one of the people who as kids we didn't find baseball boring. We found it interesting, even though it's slower than basketball and slower than football. We always found it interesting. Even as a White Sox fan, just growing up in Chicago, watching the Cubs because they were on every day, during the summer. So big ups to us for making it through this. And go Bears. I don't want to talk about the Bears.
Good luck. Good luck this week. Just remember to breathe. I'm rooting for you. I hope they win
Yeah,
it.
Appreciate it.
Sox and
Appreciate it.
4.
Sox and
Yeah.
4. Hey,
4. I got it
Go
too.
Chicago.
I love what you guys are saying because once again, this is Plunk. This is the baseball podcast. We celebrate 2 teams, all of us. One grand, magnificent city of Chicago. And thank you to Chicago. And we'll be back next Sunday for hopefully not our last game of the season. Hopefully not our last show of the season. And we're just gonna enjoy it even if so.
Good luck. Go get that chip, man.
All right, man. This one's like they won it when my dad got sick in '05, and they need to win it again after he passed. So all right, if the Sox didn't have enough pressure, like my dead father.
Let's go get it. Yeah, let's go get
You
it for
gotta
him.
take. All right, folks.
All right.
Peace.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Later.